All right, welcome to another episode of Questionable Group Chat. I'm your host, Smith, and today I'm going to talk about the fact that I just turned 31, and I wanted to be reflective or introspective about my life and how these first 31 years have gone. And of course, I'm not really a reflective or introspective person. That's more my wife, Allie. So I decided to get some help. And where did I get help? Well, you guessed it, ChatGPT. I went on to ChatGPT and I said, "Hey, ChatGPT, I turned 31 today, and or I turned 31 a few days ago." And ChatGPT said, "Oh, happy belated birthday! What'd you do?" And I told him about this pool party I went to. It was actually for my nephew's birthday, but all my friends were there, so it's kind of like a birthday party for me and my twin brother. But anyways, so that's ChatGPT. Then I was like, "Hey, ChatGPT, I want to be reflective about my 31st birthday. Can you like ask me some questions like?" That I can think about, and I came up with a list. So we're gonna go through this list, and I'm gonna answer them. So yeah, let's get to it. First thing, reflecting on your 20s versus early 30s. Compare your life, how you felt in your 20s to now. What changed in terms of mindset, goals, or lifestyle? Um, so in my 20s, I was I was obsessed with money. When I was growing up in high school and college, times were tough financially for our family. So I had the foolish idea that any young person would have that had to experience some sort of hardships with finances. I thought money would bring me happiness. And because of that, I decided to pursue very lucrative jobs. They were lucrative, but they were very demanding and pretty much, tormented my mental health. And long story short, my goal was to work on Wall Street in my 20s, and I achieved that goal in my mid to late 20s. And I worked on Wall Street for 3 years, about 3 years, until I couldn't take it anymore and I quit. Um, it was very bad for my mental health. Um, I actually quit this year from Wall Street, and I have a new job. So in terms of mindset, um, I would say my 20s was about, just chasing money, to be honest. Now my 30s has made me realize that that old adage, money can't buy you happiness, and I am much happier now than when I was working on Wall Street. So I think I don't really value money as much as I used to in my 20s, now that I do my 30s. But I'm also a lot more financially stable now, so that could also be a factor into why I don't value money as much as I used to, and I don't like go to it for happiness or validation or anything like that. So yeah, my mindset now is to just focus on happiness and focusing on my friends and my family. That was something I was definitely lacking, especially when I was on Wall Street. And now I'm trying to get that back. And been going really well now. I'm being more mindful of my mental health. I'm doing things like this podcast, for example, which is just a creative outlet for me. I'm being more kind to myself, which I wasn't in my 20s. And in terms of like goals or lifestyle, I would say in my 20s, I definitely partied a lot harder. I definitely feel the hangovers, as cliche as that sounds, now, which actually moves on to our next thing, which is physical changes. That's the next question ChatGPT asked here. But yeah, I would say I have more aches. Definitely sciatica pain. I'm working on it. I'm exercising. I think I'm exercising as m- there were stints in my 20s where I exercised a lot, but then there were stints where I didn't do shit and I was lazy and I got fat. Um, but I would say right now I'm very active, thanks to my wife. She's pushed me to be more active and exercise, and I've been doing that. So I would say I'm a bit more physically active, at least in the beginning of my 30s, than I was in the beginning of my 20s. Um, and then moving on, career and life goals. Where are you now compared to where you thought you'd be? Um, I think I'm on track, to be honest, with where I thought I'd be. I did not think I'd be working on Wall Street forever in my 20s. I knew there was gonna be one day where I couldn't take it anymore, or my wife couldn't take it anymore, and I'd have to quit, and that happened. So, in terms of I'm not surprised with where I'm at right now. Uh, you know, the only thing that I would that does surprise me is that I'm not in New York. My new job had to make us move out of New York, which was unfortunate because we both love the city. So which moves on to the next question where they ask, what are your career or life goals shifted now that you're in your 30s? Well, my career goal, honestly, I don't really have any career goals. After I got into banking, that was like my ultimate career goal, and I did that. And now that I left it, everything else is just icing on the cake. I'm kind of open right now in terms of career goals. I'm on a certain path right now, which is fine. If I stay on that path, I'd be totally fine with that. If something else came up and, piqued my interest, I'd go for that. I'm pretty much open now, which is great. And that's thanks to having the financial stability to be able to do that, as well as, having a supporting wife. But in terms of, you know, how my life goals have shifted, I would say it's to be kinder to myself, uh, practice mindfulness, be kind to others, and spend more time with family and friends. I think that's how my life goals have shifted. I would say I do have, you know what, I do have another life goal, and that's to move back to New York. I think that's where I want to live for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna put it out there. My other life goal is to eventually own property in New York City that I live in, like a condo or some sort of house or something in the city, like in Manhattan or Brooklyn, or Long Island City, maybe Queens, but I would love to own something in Manhattan or Brooklyn. That's one of my big goals right now. Um, in terms of the next question is social life and relationships, how friendships have evolved. Um, so I've been fortunate to have a close group of friends in a group chat that have been my close friends since like 2012, 13, maybe. And I would say over time, people, I don't think grown apart is the right word, maybe a little bit, but I would say it's more of like have just gotten busy with, their lives and doing other things. And, we don't talk as much. Our close friends, there are a few that still are very active on the group chat, but not everyone. And that's okay. I mean, whenever I just saw all of them, for this pool party, and it was just like old times when we were talking. It was like we didn't even miss a beat. So I would say, you don't have as much interactions with your friends, but when you do, it feels like nothing has changed. At least for me, from my perspective. Um, in terms of being married, it says if you're married or in a relationship, talk about how relationships mature with age. Well, I would say my wife and I are definitely very different people than we were when we met and we were dating and when we first got married. I mean, we've been married for a little over 3 years now, and yeah, things are definitely different than they were back then. And some worse, some good, but overall, I would say things are changed for the better. My wife has grown more independent and more confident in herself, and I have grown more confident in myself as well as uh, like practicing mindfulness and being kinder to myself because I wasn't when I was in Wall Street, and before that, I just whenever I'd make like the simplest mistake, I would just beat myself down about it, beat myself up like all day about it. So I would say I'm definitely kinder to myself, and I feel more confident. Uh, okay, the next thing is pop culture nostalgia. They're asking about things I remember from when I was younger. I would say when I was in high school and college, that was when the big three was coming up. J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, and now it's just no more big three. It's just Kendrick now. I remember the whole Good Music, Kanye West record label. I remember when Click dropped. Uh, what else? I remember the whole Drake Pusha T beef. That was after I graduated from college and I was working. So things younger than that. I mean, when I remember one story. This is like a kind of a random story. I remember when I was working on Wall Street, my analyst, I was talking to him about he's like 6 years younger than me, and I was talking to him about this old cartoon I used to watch when I was a kid called Jackie Chan Adventures, and he had no idea what that was, and I was like, oh my god. Then I was like, wait, when were you born again? And he was like, oh, 2000, and my heart just sank. And he saw the look on my face, he saw the light leave my eyes, and he just started laughing. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm old." I'm like, it just made me feel so old when he said he was born in 2000. I was like, "Oh my god, that's brutal." Um, Next question here is around mental health and self care. Well, I've already touched on this, but definitely approach mental health and self care a lot better than I did when I was in my 20s. Everyone can attest to that. My wife can attest to that. I'm much kinder to myself, and I encourage you to be kinder to yourself. Future goals. What are you excited about in your 30s? Any goals or milestones you want to hit in the next few years? Yeah, so I would say I want to move back to New York, definitely. I want to own something in New York eventually. I know it's gonna take a while, but I want to. I would say I want to be more productive with these and drop more consistently with these podcasts. I want to. Oh, I want to be a millionaire before I'm 40, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. With the way that my wife and I operate when it comes to finances, and we can talk about it in another video. But I would say we're pretty good at managing our finances and pretty responsible. With that. So yeah, I would say my future goals are moving back to New York, uh, becoming a millionaire before 40, being more consistent with my podcast job, being kinder and being more practicing more mindfulness and, you know, heal, focusing on my mental health. I think that's important. And being kinder to people in general, and taking care of my family and my friends. I think those are really my future goals, for me, for my 30s at least. Exercise, consistently exercise as well. And for those young people out there, definitely make it a habit to exercise. You'll thank yourself when you're my age and older. So definitely do that. And yeah, that's it. I am old. I'm a 31-year-old. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.